What's up, all my fellow marketers and entrepreneurs? Max Finn here, and in today's video, I want to talk about something that is more macro in scale in terms of it's really about how to build businesses and build sellable businesses. Less about kind of a lot of the videos I do are kind of marketing tactics and stuff. And we'll have more videos coming in the future about marketing and strategies. One I'm going to be recording in the next few days about lifetime value and understanding that, and that's the X factor for success today. But today's video, I want to talk about something I think is like probably the most important thing most young and new entrepreneurs need to hear because it is a hamster wheel that people get stuck on. And I was stuck on it for a long time, and it limits your growth potential, kind of keeps you in place for a very long time. So what I want to talk about in the video today is how you can both build multiple 7, 8 figure businesses, so not be stuck just with one business, and how you can actually build businesses that don't just go to nothing when you stop focusing. How can you build businesses that can grow and grow and grow and eventually can be sold and be exited? Because really, that's the point, right? What you don't want to do is you don't want to build yourself into a job. And I see a ton of entrepreneurs out there, some of which that I know that I've known for a very long time, that have basically the ironies. They've left a 9 to 5, or they didn't want to do 9 to 5 because they didn't want work. They didn't want a job, right? And so they start the entrepreneurship thing and they build their own business. But because of how they build their businesses, they actually end up becoming a 9 to 5 employee in their own job. They kind of get trapped in this company because they're building things. A lot of people initially is just to make money. So most people get into this space because they want to make money, right? And obviously we all want to make money, but the way they want to make money is I want quick money. I want to increase my monthly income. And it's all about day one dollars. It's all about how much more money I can make every single month. Not saying it's a bad thing, but you get in this trap where it's very short-term cash flow driven decisions, not long-term asset development, long-term visions where you're building something that actually could be sold. Because the truth is, the way you build true wealth is by being able to deploy large amounts of capital at opportune times to acquire undervalued assets, to invest in all kinds of asset classes, right? It's very hard, not to say it's impossible, but to build massive wealth off of kind of earned income. And I've kind of learned this the hard way. Even if you're making, low to mid 6 figures, even high 6 figures a year, and you're in the top 1% of income, right? It's still hard to make large investments. You can't go out there and just start buying, multifamily units and investing in real estate and all kinds of stuff. You can, but it's a very small gradual process, right? However, when you sell a business and you get a 7 figure payday, an 8 figure payday, you now can get this massive head start where you can start really deploying a lot more capital and you get the economies of scale. Everything gets easier the more money you have, right? Even just basic interest on somebody who has, 10, 50, $100 million or basic dividend stocks pays a lot of money compared to somebody who has $10,000, $100,000, right? So that's the purpose of today's video. Now, what ends up happening, the challenge and the reason for this problem is uh, new entrepreneurs and young entrepreneurs, and then you put in that bucket entrepreneurs who just have been in the game for a long time but are stuck at a certain point and they're unsuccessful. Pretty at a high level, they're pretty unsuccessful. I'm trying to be polite with my words here. They get trapped in this thinking where they think that they also not only make the best founders of companies, but the best CEOs. There's an ego component, a scarce minded component where it's, hey, I started this thing. It's my idea. I'm also the best person and the only person that should be running it. I should be running it. I should be putting the direction in place. I should be managing the team. I should be doing everything. Now, the reality is that most entrepreneurs, not all entrepreneurs, but most entrepreneurs are great when it comes to vision, ideas, creativity, problem solving, motivation, inspiration. They're good at these things, but they're also usually very bad at completing tasks. They're very bad at systems. They're very bad at operations. They're very bad at staying focused. They're very bad at kind of the skills you really do need to build a business, right? They have great skills to create businesses and get businesses going, but very bad skills just because of the personality types to actually then make those successful, long-term sustainable businesses. But most people never get to that point where they become aware enough of that. There's a reason why most public companies, especially public tech companies that were founded, by some young 20-something, 30-something in a college dorm right out of college, there's a reason why most of them are no longer run by the founder. And there's a reason why most big public companies are run by professional CEOs, they're run by career executives, not the founder. Now, again, there's, the Facebooks of the world, the Mark Zuckerbergs, and there was the Steve Jobs, and there's the Bill Gates and stuff, but they're anomalies in the grand scheme of things. Most big companies that go public, they're not being run anymore by the founder because the founder realizes, hey, I got it to here. I don't either one have the desire or the skill set to take it to the next level. So I'm going to take my chips off the table, make a lot of money by selling, and then keep a piece and get the upside. So this is the trap, right? The trap is that you start something and you're onto something really big and you're making money and the business is going well. But there's a temptation to say, hey, I want to run this thing. I need to run this thing. And I don't want to share. I don't want to be abundant. I don't want to take a cut from what I'm paying myself and pay a CEO to come in, to pay a COO to come in, pay somebody else to come in. They want to keep everything, especially if you're creating businesses purely for short-term cash flow. It's like, hey, I could either keep this extra, 8, 9, 10 grand a month or whatever it is, or I can invest in talent. I can invest in an executive. And unfortunately, again, a lot of young entrepreneurs and a lot of new entrepreneurs and a lot of unsuccessful entrepreneurs, they try to do everything themselves. One, because of the ego, and then two, because they want to just keep the whole pie. It's like, why would I hire this person or this person when I can just keep all of it and do it myself? And again, in the short run, yeah, you'll make more money that way. But in the long run, you will fail every single time because eventually you get burnt out. Eventually, you don't want to do it anymore. Eventually, you get bored because you're an entrepreneur and you don't like just actually running the same company all the time. And then because you didn't build a team, because you didn't build systems, because you didn't put an infrastructure in place to grow this thing without you, it's basically unsellable, right? So you basically have something that's very hard to sell and exit, meaning it's hard to take the chips off the table and just make a lot of money. So either you're kind of left with a few options. One is you just kind of move on to another thing and this thing slowly dies and it makes no more money. Or you do sell it and try to sell it and you get a buyer that pays a lower multiple, but they're also going to require you to probably come work for that company and do something to earn out for a year, 2 years with a non-compete. So you're basically then working a job, right? You're working for somebody else at that point. So what you really need to do, and again, I'm not bashing anybody, that if you're in that position right now, it's totally fine. Everyone goes through that. I went through that for years and years and years before I kind of got out of that trap. And now Jerry and myself, we own multiple companies, multiple businesses. We're on the board of multiple businesses, and we make a lot of income from businesses that we actually have very little day-to-day interaction with. Usually we're hopping on a call with the owner, the CEO, once a week. And then we're getting monthly or quarterly distributions. Plus we have a large chunk of ownership. And the only way we were able to do this is by investing in talent, by first recognizing that we are not the person to run this company, right? As entrepreneurs and founders, we are going to start the companies. We're going to come with the ideas. We're going to get the momentum. We're going to hit it to get it to a certain point. But then, hey, we're not the right person for the job. I don't have the skill sets or interests to be the CEO of these companies. I don't want to do it, and I'm not good at doing it. So I can recognize that. But again, recognizing it and saying that loud, like you're not good at something, is challenging for a lot of entrepreneurs, right? We're A-type people. We want to be the best at everything. We're winners and competitors, right? So it was recognizing that and acknowledging that. And then it was also saying like, hey, I'm willing to take less today to hire the right people so I can make a lot more tomorrow. And I can make a lot more passively. And that's the key thing, right? The only way to build and own multiple businesses that are actually thriving and doing 7, 8+ figures is that you need to build teams. You need to invest in talent. And so we've done that with all of our businesses where we said, hey, so like our Hero Brands portfolio, we have a portfolio of e-com properties, right? We put a CEO in place who's originally kind of a minority partner in Unicorn, worked for us for years, younger guy. And he just naturally kind of evolved. He's a very different type of person. He isn't the entrepreneurial type like we are. He's more entrepreneurial, but he's also very systems focused, OCD focused. He's like very, very focused on task, system, structure. He makes a great CEO of that business, right? Because he's just hyper focused on that business and perfecting everything in that business. So we put him in place and we gave him generous ownership of the company. We gave him a generous salary. We gave him the kind of a lot of control and the latitude as a leader. And over the last 2 years, he's been able to build an amazing team, an amazing culture, and a business that's probably within the next few months going to hit $1 million a month in recurring revenue. It's all built on recurring revenue, this business, on subscription businesses. So it is now paying us as the owners of it. Myself, my partner, Jeremy, another partner, we own 25% each of it. So we're getting a nice chunk of cash every single month, relatively passively. Plus we have a asset over here with a team, with leadership that is making a lot of money that we can sell. That's an attractive acquisition, right? So there's a clear exit path there. So we have a business here that is just exploding, that's printing cash basically, that is, primed for an acquisition that I don't have to focus on more than maybe a few hours a week. And so that frees my time up to do these other things, right? And so these other things that I'm doing, whether it's our education business, whether it's our agency business, whether it's, whatever business we're involved in, our mastermind, we are doing the exact same thing. We're building teams, we're investing in talent, we're setting up systems, we're getting ourselves out of the day-to-day and putting in people that actually are really good at the day-to-day. And that is the only way you can do it. If you don't do that, what will happen for your entire career until you eventually do that is you will build one thing up, because you could be really good at getting to 7 figures. So you'll build this one thing up to $2, $3, $4, $5 million a year. And then you'll get bored. You get shiny object syndrome. You won't want to do it anymore. So you'll try to start something over here that's exciting to you. So you go over here and start building this up. But what people think will happen is this will just stay here or keep growing. What ends up happening is basically this starts dropping as this rises. So basically everything you're gaining over here, you're losing over here. So you're playing this constant seesaw of like, okay, I got bored over here. I want to do this. So I go do this. This starts going up. This starts going down. Oh, I got to put the fires out over here. I got to jump back into this. You jump back into this business. Now this business goes down. And that is the game that people play for a very, very long time. It's this back and forth between the business that pays their bills and the business that they actually want to run and want to build and want to start. And they can't commit to either one of those, right? So the whole kind of point, if you have to kind of put all this back into a TLDR for the video, which you didn't even read but watch it. So a TLDR of viewing is, if you want to build multiple businesses and own multiple businesses that are doing 7, 8+ figures, if you want to have true passive income and not just depend on earned income for your entire life, if you want to have businesses that are actually sellable, you need to remove yourself as the entrepreneur founder from that day-to-day position. You need to bring on the right people. You need to invest heavily in talent. Right? That means you're sacrificing your pay out of the gate. That's fine. You need to do that. You're investing in your future where you're going to make a lot more money. You need to build systems. You need to build structure. You need to build teams. And you need to acknowledge that you aren't the right person to be running these companies, right? That your gift and your skill set is the ideation, the launch, the creation, the build up initially, and then it's moving on to the next thing. And if you can acknowledge that and you can embrace that you have strengths and weaknesses and really focus on your strengths and where your weaknesses are, find people that's their strengths, you are going to do very, very well. As soon as, like I said, I spent years and years and years on that seesaw. As soon as I started doing those things, everything in my life changed dramatically. Financially, relationship-wise, because I didn't have to stress as much about business and money. I had more freedom, more time. And I was just happier because I got to work on things that I actually wanted to work on, not things that I needed to work on. So if that's what you want to do and want to have, you need to do these things. If, just to kind of wrap it up here, if you're like, hey, I have no desire to, own multiple businesses. I have no desire to, I don't need passive income. I just want to work and make money. If you have no plan, I don't want to sell a business. If those things aren't interesting to you, then you can keep doing this thing, right? You can say, hey, this is my thing. I like it. It's not going to grow to a certain point. I'm never going to sell it, but I'm okay with that. I just want to do this thing. Then fine. There's, no harm, no foul. That's everyone's entitled to what they want to do. But if you're an entrepreneur like I am, I haven't been an entrepreneur that feels that way. So most entrepreneurs are going to want to do more than one thing. They're going to build more than one thing. And this is the path to do it. So if you guys enjoyed this video, as always, hit the subscribe button down there, the bell notification, so you can get all my future videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.